G'day, John for Thehotend. Thought I'd put together a video on supports. Now, there's been a lot of talk about supports lately, both automatic supports and manual supports, even tree supports. So I've gone through with 3 different slicers and I'm demonstrating the auto and manual supports in each slicer. So I hope you enjoy it. This video is not sponsored by anybody. It's purely my opinions and my opinions only. Okay, let's get into it.
Now this is the model I've chosen. So to put supports on this one, firstly you need to go to Edit Process, go into Supports and Generate Support Material. And here you have some options, the infill percentage, whether you want a bottom and a top on the support structure, and a few other bits and pieces. Now down here I use a 45-degree angle on my supports. It's not necessary, but I just think it holds a little bit better. So that's okay. Then we go up to Tools, Customize Supports, and then you get another option over here where you can have from build platform only or normal. We'll stick to normal. The resolution is more to do with the model where the supports are placed. So if I put that down to 1 and generate, you'll see you get, although they look fine, they still print in the same format as what we selected in the original one down here. It just gives you more supports in more places. So if I go up to, we'll clear those, and if I go up to say 6 up here, they look really fat. So it's up to you how you want that to look. So we'll leave it at 4, clear those. Now the overhang angle depends on your printer and what you're printing with. If you're printing with PLA, you'll have a fan, so your overhangs can be a little steeper. If you're printing with ABS, which generally is no fan, then you'll need more supports for your overhangs. I usually set this angle at 65 degrees and generate. There's the supports that it's automatically generated. Okay, now some of these I find aren't necessary and some are necessary. As you can see, there's nothing up here on the knife. So in this instance you can go into remove supports to take out the ones that you don't want. I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that. And I've already printed this model, so I know where I need supports. So here you've got a line of supports that go backwards. So if you just click on the front one several times, it will take them all back and they're gone. Okay, so that's fine to remove supports. And to add supports, we go here and then you just click on where you want the support, like so, and right click, and again right click, again right click, and so forth. It needs one up here, right click, and that's pretty much it. You can add and subtract as many as you want, and it's a very simple process. So done. And if we go into prepare to print, it's slicing, so just bear with it for a minute. There we go, and it shows up your supports in grey like so. You need to play around with the number of bottom solid layers and top solid layers so that they're easier to remove from the model, and also the distance from the model horizontally to the support, which you can also adjust. So that's how it all works in simplified 3D. Let's move on to the next one. This one is PrusaSlicer version 2.3.1. Now, as with the others, there are options for automatic supports, which you go over here to support material and generate support material ticked and auto generate ticked, and some options down here for, again, spacing from the model, number of top and bottom solid layers, etc. So we can go back to the model and we can do a preview which slices and previews, and you'll be able to see the supports. And there we have it, all the supports that it's generated. Now once they're generated, you're pretty much stuck with those. You can't add or subtract at this point, although you can go back to your settings back here, and there is a thing called a support painter. Now, from what I've found, you can't use both. You can't use auto supports and paint on supports at the same time. You have to do one or the other. So we'll go to paint on supports. Now to do that, you have to come back into your print settings. You need to leave that one ticked, the generate supports, but untick auto supports. Okay, so that's done. Then we come over to here and we want for support enforcers only. Now once you get that all sorted, you can go to paint on supports. Okay, and it gives you some options here of whether you want a sphere or a circle or brush sizes and what have you, which changes that little dot there. You see that dot that I'm moving around there? So you can make that bigger or smaller down here. And all you do is where you think you want supports, you just left click and hold and paint it on the model. So we'll have supports there. We'll have supports on here. Painting, painting. And we'll have some under the chin. And we need some on this hand. So we just paint them in. And up his arm a bit. Now if you want to change something, if we've made a mistake and you don't want them, do shift left click. Shift left click, and that takes them off. See, you can rub them out. But we don't want to do that because we want them on there. So we'll just paint them on there again. Now in order to see what you've been doing, again you have to do a slice preview. And there they are. So that tells you where it's going to put the supports that you painted on the model. Okay, I should have put some up here, but this is for demo only. So that's PrusaSlicer. let's keep going. Okay, now we're in Cura, and this is version, let's have a look. This one is 4.9.1. So we have a couple of options in Cura. You can do auto supports naturally, which is in your settings. Go down to supports, travel, cooling, supports. Okay, generate supports, tick that, and then you get all your support options. Somewhere, where did it go? There. So here's all your support options. Again, you can put it to the plate or everywhere. Your overhang angle, the type of supports, density, top and bottom layers, etc, etc. So we shall see how that slices up. Okay, and we'll go to preview. And there's the auto supports that were added by Cura. Now, you may want to go with those, you may not. So let's assume that you don't like those supports. And we'll go back to our settings and we shall turn off generate support. So that's gone. And over here you will see a plugin which is called Custom Supports. You can download that from Marketplace up here. Okay, we're in Marketplace plugins and you'll see down here Custom Supports. You just click on that and it will download it automatically to your version of Cura, or your version may already have it built in because it was an experimental at one stage. So to use this, you click on that and you get some options here. Whether you want the support to go directly down to the build plate or not, which I'll show you in a sec, whether you want a box or a cylinder, and that's if you want to donate to the plugin author. And over here you have the size of the support. So we go back to our model where we want our supports, and you just left click and there you see a support is added and it goes right down to the build plate. We can do it again, there, and that's easily done. And yeah, I'll just show you again, this one for there, where are we, there, get it, there we go. So that's how you do that. But you can also untick that there, and like for under his chin, you don't want them to go all the way down, so you can just click on there and it just gives you a box. So then what you do is come over here to your scale, untick uniform, and you can move that box around to anywhere you want. So we can move it. This is resizing. So we can resize it there. We can move it up and down, make it bigger or smaller. You can move it to wherever you want to put it. If you were not happy with where it was, you can move it to there. You can scale it to bigger or smaller. You make it bigger, bigger. Now we can start it. As you can see, the angles here to the model, and it will start from the chest and go up. Okay, that works fine. So this is the automatic supports, as you can see. So it's added all of those supports. But if you don't want them in somewhere on this, you can remove them by using this over here, which is a support blocker. So with the support blocker, you can go up to the support that you want to block and click on it, and you end up with this little box here, and then it reslices. It's a fairly slow process, I must say, but okay. So everywhere where we've put that box, this box, oops, my computer's struggling a bit. Yeah. This box here, it blocks out whatever supports were near it. Now if anyone knows a way that you can get Cura to not slice every time you change something, let me know in the comments, because it's most annoying. So that's Cura. But wait, there's more. Get out of there, and we want to get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, and get rid of that. So we're back to our model. Cura now has, it asks you, we're in here now, what sort of support you want, normal or tree. Let's try tree. Now these are just default settings, and we'll see what tree does. Now it takes a lot longer to slice with tree supports, and there's what's added for tree supports. Now they look kind of weird, because as you can see, they go from outside the model and then go up. Now this is all hollow. It's printed like, basically like a vase print, and it comes up and branches out like a tree root to wherever you need the support. See, it's come up here, it's come up to the knife, and that's pretty much how they work. I'm pretty new to tree supports, so there's probably some more tweaks that I don't know about yet, but that's how it prints. one other little tip that I can show you. As you can see, this model is sitting on a round flat base. Now, round flat bases can be problematic. So in Cura you can get rid of it simply by going to the move and dropping him down so that the base is under the build plate. See how it's disappearing, like so? So you can put that just disappearing. That's a bit far. Just disappearing so we keep his boots, and the rest of the plate is underneath the build plate surface. And what will happen is it will only print stuff above the build plate. Now most of you already know this, but some of you don't, so for those that don't, that's just a little trick. And of course you need to use a model that can stand without the plate. So we'll just wait for that to slice again. Preview. It's taken 3 hours out of the print, you'll notice. And the red bit is what prints. So you've saved a lot of time and a lot of filament and a lot of headaches with having sufficient infill and top layers to get a decent plate. So you just get rid of it altogether. All slicers will let you do that. For instance, we're back into the PrusaSlicer, and if we try and move our little man down under the build plate, it won't let you. It pops back up. But there is another way of doing it. You go down here to cut, this one here. It asks you if you want to keep the upper part or the lower part, because we're cutting on the Z axis. We want to keep the upper part but not the lower part. Okay, so here's our cutting plane. You can lift it up and down. Okay, keep the upper part. You can take this down so that it cuts just above that plate. You can see the slight colour change. Perform the cut. Oh, we didn't go far enough. We'll go down to about there. Perform the cut. Oh, and it's gone. So that's how you do it in the PrusaSlicer. Simplify 3D is the same as Cura. You can just drop it through.
Okay, that's my little summation of supports in the various slices. Now, a lot of people swear by the new Cura tree supports. I've used them quite extensively lately just to test them out on all this stuff here. I have to say that the slicer that I use and find the absolute best for manual supports is Simplify 3D. I cannot fault it. It's by far the easiest to use and works out really well for removal and fine-tuning all those little supports that you want to add or subtract. The others are okay, but I think Simplify 3D has it sewn up. Alright, don't forget to subscribe. See you on the next one. See ya.